What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Grit. I'm Victoria Dennis inside Manhattan Beach Studios. And before we get started, I just want to remind everyone, please like and subscribe the show's content. It really helps me out to push it higher up on your search page. So thanks for doing that. And you're going to want to continue to be subscribed because, you guys, today we have an Olympian, a legend, the head coach of UCLA beach volleyball, Jenny Johnson-Jordan. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Excited to have you.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to touch on a lot here today. We're going to touch on you being the reigning national champions here 2026. We'll touch on recruiting, your reflection as an athlete to assistant coach to head coach. You've won at UCLA, you won a national championship as an athlete in 91 with the indoor women's volleyball team. Then you won 2 national championships as an assistant coach for beach volleyball. This was your first national championship as a head coach for UCLA Bruins beach volleyball.
Yes.
Did it hit a little bit different?
It definitely did. It definitely did. Just having that road as a head coach is definitely different, but equally as sweet as all the other ones, honestly. Yeah.
And the road building up to it, I mean, gosh, the race was crazy this year. I mean, there's so many talented programs across the nation. When you got to Gulf Shores, was there a specific moment where you thought, oh, okay, I think we're about to win this thing?
Yeah. I think, 2 moments, honestly. I think that first day is very nerve-wracking for a lot of teams. In fact, I don't like to watch the other matches that have gone on before or after us that first day. I just like to be focused on our match. But typically in the past, having seen some of those matches other times, teams are very nervous that first day. And I will say our team was extremely locked in that first day. And I was impressed with the way they came out. It didn't seem like they had a ton of nerves, honestly. And so I think that was a monumental point for us. And I also think, too, our semifinal match. I mean, I think the semifinal match in a lot of ways can be more challenging than the finals. And I think for us, it was about getting over that hump of the semifinal match the night before on that Saturday evening. And I feel like once we did that, our team really even relaxed even more and got ready for the final.
You guys, I honestly wish that smoosh existed when I was competing. If you've ever played beach volleyball or you're just outside in general, you know that sand and muck can get absolutely everywhere, especially after a long day. Smoosh is a silicone body scrubber with the bar of soap built right in, and it really helps the sand come off that much easier and all the grime. You can tell I use it because I literally pulled it out of my shower to bring into Manhattan Beach Studios. So if you want your starter pack for 55% off, go to getsmoosh.com/GRIT. That's GetSMOOSH/grit.com. Reflecting on the court.
Yeah. I think one thing is, we do a lot of visualization, meditation before we compete, and sometimes just on practice days as well. I think that was super helpful. I also think, too, we didn't switch the lineup a ton, but we still had a really deep team. And there were times even leading up to those last 2 weeks where we were still playing with things, like our lineup was not set. And so I think going through that journey and really having a team full of young women who really were team first. And, whether they were in or they were out, they were going to accept their roles and they were going to do the very best they possibly could to serve the team.
And to your point about roles on the team and lineups, at this level, at the national championship level, juniors sometimes think, oh, well, I have my set partner and that's it. But that's not how it goes.
Yeah, it's very different from juniors for sure. I mean, they have a little bit of that club v club aspect, right? But your partner can switch every year. Your position can switch every year. And, I think it's very difficult for a lot of top programs for freshmen to break in and play right away, too. So I think that's an adjustment for a lot of players as well. But I will say, too, it's such a great team sport. Yeah, you have your team within the team, but it really is just exciting sport and love being a part of it.
What makes winning as a head coach different?
I think because there's a part of an ownership over I feel responsible in a lot of ways, not always for the wins per se, but just in wanting to make sure that things are good with the team, that things are right. Like ultimately it falls, I feel like, on my shoulders. Whether I'm delegating a job to somebody else, ultimately it falls on me. And so I think having that little bit added pressure sometimes as a head coach is a little bit different. I didn't necessarily feel that as much as an assistant. But also too, it brings a lot of joy and pride, when we're able to follow through the way we did the end of last year.
And I think it's really special as a female head coach too, to be leading up and coming young women. And it's great to see more like strong women in that head coaching role. Is that something you ever think about?
It's funny. I've thought about it now. I will say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was at a get together with other strong female coaches in our sport, juniors, college, and they're like, you need to be a head coach. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't say I wanted to do that. I was very comfortable being an assistant. And, we joke about that conversation now because I couldn't imagine doing it any other way. And, I think that for me, making that transition, there was a little bit of worry about what that my time looked like in terms of my family and those things too. But I found so much challenge in the job, which I actually love. No 2 days are the same, and there's stuff coming up all the time that we get to dig into, and we get to do these things. I get to do this job. I really do firmly believe that. I love what I do, and a lot of people are like, oh, if you win the lottery, what would you do? I would still be doing my job. I might pay someone to do some of the admin stuff, but I would absolutely still be doing what I'm doing. I love it. Yeah.
You've been a part of the program for 13 years. And over the course of the last 13 years, what have you seen Bruins beach volleyball grow into from before being an NCAA sport to now 3 national championships?
Yeah. So I was not there the first year. Actually, the first year or the first couple years, I actually did the TV.
Did
one
you
year.
really?
Yes, I did the sideline reporting, funny enough. And then 2 years later, I moved back to Los Angeles, and Stein offered me the position. And at that point, we were just literally taking the indoor team and bringing them over. So 2 days a week, we would go down to Santa Monica.
That was my era, by the way.
Exactly, right? So there was a lot of that going on, I feel like, collegiately, which was fine. It was a great introduction to the sport, and it's how it launched. That's the grassroots of it. And so we did a couple of practices at Santa Monica, and then Stein was also doing indoor at the time. So I would take some of the beach only girls. I think we only had maybe 2 or 3 at the time. And we would practice on this little court we had at UCLA. It was kind of a rec court. And I was like, don't dive. Like, that's how shallow, it was. But I really enjoyed that time with the beach only girls and getting to have that interaction with them. And really the role grew from there. It was very, it was a small role at first, and every year it was a little bit more until it became a full-time position. And so I appreciate kind of that evolution too, kind of getting my feet wet a little bit before I jump all the way in. But I loved it right away. I loved the interaction with these strong young women who were at that time really playing 2 sports, and I've loved seeing the evolution of the sport.
How has the evolution impacted recruiting? Because before you had indoor, sometimes beach athletes, but now there's beach only athletes from middle school and high school that want nothing to do with indoor.
Yep.
They just want to play beach volleyball. How has that influenced recruiting?
Well, for one, it's made the level of play extremely high. I mean, as coaches, we talk about it all the time when we're out in Hermosa recruiting all summer. It's the things these juniors are doing now were things that our collegiate athletes were doing, maybe 4 or 5 years after we started the program. So that's been really exciting. And so I think that, recruiting wise, there's going to be more parity. There's going to be better players out there for every program. And so you start to see the level of play rise everywhere. And like you saw last year as a perfect example, it was really any team could beat anyone on any given weekend. And I know that those kinds of things are said a lot, but it was actually true for our sport last year collegiately.
And to come in to the finals, the championship match, and to sweep Stanford, who is ranked number one. What was that dialogue like with your team before heading into that championship match?
Yeah, we had a little time before we went out to talk to the team. I didn't want to make it long, you know. I could tell they were already locked in. I could. We had some great senior leadership in Maggie Boyd, and we had some other leaders on the team as well. But she really was more the vocal leader, speaking to the team. She had been there before. She knew what it was like. And I think the team really leaned into her experience and what she had to tell them. So for me, it was just kind of like putting the bow that morning. But I could tell they were locked in. They were absolutely locked in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see the juniors rise into these leadership roles as young women at the collegiate level. And as you said, I mean, it's just across the nation. And it's been really fun to see the sport to continue to grow and grow. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger. And I mean, it's huge. We saw, I mean, there was the numbers are there from watching the national championship match. I was in the LAX airport flying to broadcast for Major League Volleyball and watching the national championship game in the United Airlines terminal. And it was on and I was like, let's go. It was so cool to see that.
Yeah.
Going back to recruiting, what is something that athletes focus on that they don't necessarily need to focus on in the recruiting realm?
I think one thing, you know, I know a lot of athletes get nervous when coaches come to their courts or, you know, they're worried about if they won or not. I spoke with this actually with Harper Cooper a couple weeks ago. We had a camp and she was kind of telling me about, you know, this one time I went to go watch her play and she lost. She thought, oh my goodness, she's going to decommit me. I'm like, that is not happening. Like, I think as coaches, you know, we're looking for the obvious things, but the maybe less obvious things would be like, what kind of partner are you? You know, are you coachable? Are you paying attention to your coach? Are you respectful to them? Are you able to implement whatever they say into your game plan pretty quickly and make those adjustments in game time situations? You know, how are you talking to your parents? You know, I've seen the whole spectrum. I've seen kids that have been really great with their parents, and I've seen some athletes be not so great to their parents. And, you know, all of those things are super important in the recruiting process. Those are some of the more intangible things that you're not going to necessarily see on a highlight reel or some of the video that's sent in. These are the things that you really get to see when you're in person in some of those tournaments. And it's really important. And winning is not the most important thing, honestly. It's, you know, what are you doing in terms of the match and game planning? You know, maybe you're down early. How resilient are you to like stay locked in and focus and try to fight and come back, or do you just kind of roll over? So, you know, I think all of those are really important things recruiting wise, in addition to the more obvious things. Yeah.
How do you see yourself if you look back at your career as an athlete and now as a head coach? Is there anything that you would tell yourself at the Olympics that you were playing in, reflecting back as a young athlete?
I think I would just, and it's something we talk about all the time, just this idea of being present. It's so easy to get caught in what happened before or to look too far ahead, and you really do miss the moment. And so, you know, I want to maximize the moment, and I want to be as present as possible and be able to take in everything that's happening around me. And so I think for me, it's that. I think as an athlete, I just remember traveling internationally. I laugh now. I was talking about this with Annette the other day, but how we used to go to places internationally and we wouldn't tour the city. We would just go to practice, and I just wanted to eat and watch video and not really enjoy the experience of traveling. And then after a few years, I eased up and I, you know, wasn't so crazy about that. I'm like, yeah, we're in Espinho, Portugal. Like, let's go take the train into Porto and, you know, see the sights on our off day. Like, we have an off day. Let's do that. So I think for me, that was the big thing internationally, but also I think just in general, just being present and enjoying the moment.
And your partner, Annette Davis, in the 2000 Sydney Olympics, also a Bruin.
Yes.
And you were the first team at the time to have 100 wins as a team under your belt. In addition, let me just brag about
Okay.
you really fast. World Championship silver medal, and you've won 10 professional beach titles. Talking to Annette Davis today, what are some of the highlights, the flashbacks, the stories that get brought up time and time again?
Oh, yeah. We have so many stories. I mean, we're talking about, gosh, over 30 years of being really the best of friends and also being teammates and in each other's weddings and all of those things. We have funny stories, everything from showing up to practice. Like, we have so many different things to choose from in terms of bathing suits, shorts, t-shirts, and we will show up in the same thing. Or, just funny things that have happened on the road, missing flights, running for flights, lost baggage. I mean, those really are more the stories that we like to tell and retell and laugh about now. Not always like, this is what happened in this match, but it's the places we've been, the journey we've been on together, just really since freshman year at UCLA as 18-year-olds. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's very rare and very special that the two of you have that. I don't know if we see a lot of that today, and partnerships really lasting that long.
Yeah.
Taryn and Kristen.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. But to both be Bruins and then pursue post-college volleyball as professionals, I just think that's really special, and it's inspiring. It really is.
Yeah, it was a special journey for us. And I know, it's maybe more of an anomaly for the pro world, but for us, that's all we ever knew. And, there's pros and cons to both. But for Annette and I, we were and still are best friends, similar stages of life. We share a lot of the same values and things that are important to ourselves and to our families. And so that part was always really, really easy. And yeah, it's hard for me to imagine what it would have been like switching partners all the time. That would have been challenging for sure.
It's funny because the LA Times a couple years ago, a couple days before the MBO, was writing up about beach volleyball. And a quote in the LA Times was, "Professional beach volleyball is like dating in high school. Nobody knows what they're doing at all times with trying to find the right partner," quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be a really intricate dance, right? Like, you're with someone, how long do you stay with them to see if this is going to work? It's just, there's so many interesting variables that go on with that. And it's fun for me to watch from the sidelines. Not to be in the midst of it.
Yes, kind of like a reality TV show.
It's like,
it's
I
fun
got my
to
popcorn.
Watch. Yeah. Yes, popcorn in hand. Absolutely. How much of your family inspired you to become the athlete that you were? Your father competed in the 61 Olympics, and he competed he won gold.
Yeah, in 56 he was a silver medalist in the decathlon, and then in 60 he was a gold medalist in the decathlon. And then another Olympic connection is in 84 he lit the torch at the opening ceremonies. So yeah, I know with my dad specifically, both of my parents had been involved in, obviously, my sports life from the time I was 3 and I first was playing soccer. They were always my coaches up until like 7th grade. And they always instilled a very important work ethic. Like, with my dad, it was, you need to be doing your best at all times, no matter what. And my mom was the same way, and my mom was that extended more even into school. Like, this is how old I am. I remember the days when I had to write papers and she would type them for me. And if it wasn't like super neat or I didn't do it, she would come right back. You got to fix this. You got to finish this. Like, this is not your best work. And so she really held me accountable in that sense. And so I think as far as, sports were concerned, that was big growing up in our home. I have a younger brother, Josh, 2 years younger, and we did everything. We did all the sports. And it really wasn't until 7th grade where I played volleyball for the first time. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this. I kept playing other sports too, but I did like volleyball. But I think the fact that our parents were so involved and integrated in our sports lives throughout high school and really beyond for me, really made it a family thing and made it a lot of fun. And I loved having them around for competitions, or when we went traveling on the road, they would come too. So it was always a family affair. Yeah.
Playing board games, did it ever get a little bit competitive?
Oh, it gets a lot competitive. Not only with my parents and my brother, but even in my family now, like with my husband and my 2 kids. Like, yeah, we get very competitive. There's definitely times we have to take a break from games because it gets so competitive. But yeah, we all like to compete for sure. Yeah.
And was it your dad's brother was in the NFL?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In NFL Hall of Fame?
Yes. Jimmy Johnson played for the 49ers for 17 years, all pro, and was inducted, I think it was in the early, mid 90s maybe. Yeah. But he was a phenomenal football player. And it was always fun rooting for the 49ers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good fun. Do you have an NFL team now?
I know. It's so hard. I mean, I feel like the 49ers are always going to be near and dear to my heart. And actually, my husband and I, we spent some time in Pittsburgh. So he was the chaplain for the Steelers. And the first year we were there, they won the Super Bowl. And I adore Coach Tomlin and his wife, Kia. They are amazing people and amazing leaders, the Rooney family and what they're doing there. I mean, we got a close-up seat to everything that went on there. So, you know, the Steelers are dear to my heart too. But I just love sports, honestly.
Yeah.
Like football, basketball, whatever's on, I'm down to watch it and cheer. So
Same.
yeah,
Absolutely. I'm excited. College football specifically for me.
Yeah.
I love college football.
Yeah.
You just really never know.
Yeah.
Like
No,
the
it's
NFL is
true.
the NFL, yes. But college football, it just has a little bit more grit.
Yeah.
Pun fully intended. Not intended, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited for the Bruins this fall. We have a new coach, and I've met him a few times. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Very charismatic, and love listening to him speak. And so I'm excited for what he's doing too.
So bring it back to your program for the Bruins. What's something that the next era after Jenny Johnson-Jordan and this era of the Bruins, what do you want it to be remembered as besides the championships?
I think for me, I really do believe I'm a steward of this team, right? It's in this program. And I always think about, you know, what's the kind of program I want my daughter to be a part of. That's a huge driving force for me. And so for me, it really, really is more than the volleyball. It's really about the whole person and getting to be and walk alongside these young women as they go through some of the most transformational years of their lives. For me, college, that is one time in my life I would absolutely do over again. I had so much fun. I learned and grew so much and learned a lot about who I was as a person, who I wanted to be, apart from my family, apart from my friends. And so it's so fun to be with these student athletes for that journey for them and to see where they come from their freshman year to their senior year. It's, you know, someone was telling me the other day, it's like you have 18 other daughters. And that's honestly what it feels like. I just want them to win in everything, not just in volleyball. And so I love when they come to the office. I love when we get to talk about things other than volleyball too. You know, I got one former athlete who's getting married in September. I'm so excited to go to her. So weddings are coming, babies are coming. So, you know, it doesn't end in those 4 years. It keeps going beyond that. And so I love the relational part of it and helping young women find their voice too and be strong and be proud of being strong. Like, you guys kick some butt, you know? So yeah, that's the greatest gift for me in coaching. And so I hope that our program will always be known for its culture and how we care about the whole person.
Yeah, I love that. That's special. Yeah. I remember, my high school varsity coach, she had me all 4 years at Bonita High School, Adriana Contreras, and she's baking my wedding cake. And she's at my wedding in a few weeks.
That's awesome.
Yep. Okay, to wrap it up here, rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Kind of like Media Day inspired.
Okay.
Okay. Best defender you've ever played against?
Oh, Shelda. Shelda from Brazil. Shelda, yep. That's a name from the past. You guys got to Google that. You may have to Google that, but she was phenomenal. Yeah.
Best blocker you've played against?
Ooh, honestly, I think that would be Elaine Young's. She was a good blocker. She would get to me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Best trash talker?
Oh, there weren't a lot of trash talkers, but if you pissed EY off, if you got her going, yeah, you didn't want that. She'd just start going back there, cracking serves and going off. So yeah, she probably had the biggest temper.
Toughest player you've ever had to coach against?
Ooh, coach against.
Pro or NCAA?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Gosh. I don't know if I could pick one. I'm trying to think of who frustrated me the most. I'm gonna have to come back to that.
Okay, deal.
There's a lot.
Deal.
But yeah.
Wind or no wind?
Oh, wind. I like the wind.
Nice.
Yeah.
Side switch you love seeing?
Oh, whenever you're switching like 5-2, I feel like that's a pretty good side switch to start off a match.
Yeah, I
5-2.
agree.
Yeah.
Float serve or jump serve?
Jump float serve.
Jump float. Yes. One skill a junior beach players Let me try that again.
Yeah.
One skill junior beach players neglect the most?
Honestly, I would say serving. You can really affect a match single-handedly with your serving. So being aggressive with that.
Player you choose as your partner tomorrow if you had to win one match?
Well, since I'm trying to be a defender, I got to pick a blocker. I'll go with Taryn.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice. Current UCLA player most likely to become a coach?
Ooh, that's a really good one. You know what? I will say Maggie Boyd. Maggie Boyd has her IQ volleyball-wise is off the charts, and she would make a phenomenal coach. Yeah.
Who on your team talks the most trash?
Kaylee Matthews, 100%. But I love it. I tell her, do not change. She doesn't talk trash. She just gets fired up, and I love it. It's so good. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Who is most likely to run for president?
Can I pick a former player?
Yeah.
It would be Elisa Zappia, hands down. Yes. She's the one getting married in September. She just passed the bar. She's worked at the White House. She says something is going to happen, and it happens. So
please tell her to say hello. I didn't know that's whose wedding you're going to.
Yes, absolutely.
Give her a hug for me.
I will.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes. Which current player has a unique hidden talent?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Unique
or maybe
talent.
A fun fact that
I know.
the public might not know.
Well, here's a talent. Sally Perez is an amazing artist. And I think she might have an Instagram where she posts her stuff, but she does some phenomenal stuff with art. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Mm-hmm. One rule in beach volleyball you'd change?
Ooh. I don't know that I would. I know some people might say the let's serve, but now I'm kind of used to it. So I'm going to say just leave it as is, honestly.
Hermosa beach sand or Manhattan beach sand?
Oh, that's tough. Oh my gosh. I guess I got to go with Manhattan. I go with Manhattan.
The OG.
Yeah, it's
classic.
the OG. Yeah.
Last question. One word that describes the 2026 championship team?
Resilient. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
this was so fun.
Yes, I loved it.
I could talk to you for another 2 hours. Well, thanks again, and good luck in recruiting and everything. And I'll see you in LA.
Absolutely.
Sometime.
Yes.
Yeah. Good luck.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Keep it gritty out there.
Boom, boom, make that